Hello viewers, and welcome back again to Learn with Your Brains, and today I'm going to show you what we call breakpoints. So that is what lesson 5. We are done with verse 2, 3. So by now you're getting familiar with the software itself. So what do you call what is called breakpoint? Let me show you something. Let me close this application because I'm on Windows 7 and I'm going to show you something quick. So I'll close this application, or let me terminate it so that I send it through. I'll show you the process. So let me close this. So closing debug, and let's restart. So this is the application. As I show you, you can find it in the download link below in our previous tutorial. All you need to do is to drag this into your application or the SDBG64. Perfect. It opens up. Now you see the program has started to run. But you see down here you could see something or an information here, which means the program is paused and it's a system breakpoint detected. Now when we talk about breakpoint, we mean anytime a program runs, it gets to some place and it breaks. Just like human, when you do something, you're tired, you break for some time. That is how applications also work. Okay, so in this debugger, when you run this program, as I told you, the programmer made the software for us to identify something hidden within the software. So in this debugger, if you want to set a breakpoint or know something about breakpoint, all you need to do is first looking at the code. I told you we are in the system or the operating system, and this is not what we are going to break or going to crack. What we need now is the software itself or the application. So I need to run this into the application. Need to run this into the application. Okay, so first thing is to run so that we get straight to the application. So now we are in the application, and what we need to do now is set a breakpoint. Okay, so that when the code or the program runs, it stops or breaks. Okay, so that's all what we meant by breakpoint. So I just want you to know some knowledge about the breakpoint, so that in our advanced tutorial, when we start to patch, you understand all these things, what cause jumps, breakpoints, everything, so that it will make the work so easier for us. So what we need to do now is, since you are in the user code or the application itself, you can set breakpoint at any place so that when the program runs, so to set a breakpoint, you just look at the functions. It's not all the places you set a breakpoint that will work. So look at where the program is trying to execute something. That is where you can set your breakpoint. So looking here, the program is trying to call this on title, so you can set a breakpoint right here after you enter your entry point. That's the first thing you need to enter. So anytime you run your debugger, you are in your operating system, you just hit on the run, it brings you the entry point of the program. That is the start of the software itself. So the best thing to do right now is to set a breakpoint. And to set a breakpoint, you can see here is the call function. You can set a breakpoint here because it's trying to call something, which is this title and the address in the memory. So you can set a breakpoint here. So when you double click here, you will see this address will change to where, which means this is our breakpoint. Perfect. So when you click on the run, just look at what happened. Now you see it moved from here to this place. It means it has performed this instruction and it has break here. So when you come down, see the program is still paused, breakpoint at on title. So you see it shows us where our breakpoint ended. So you can also set a breakpoint here, and let's see what happened. And let's run and see. Perfect. So you see, let's move from one breakpoint to this place. So you see it's moving from this instruction. When you hit the jump, what does it happen? It breaks the program for us. So it's that simple as that. So that is actually how we set breakpoints in code. Okay, so I'm going to show you something so simple, like how to set breakpoints at comments or how to set breakpoints at comments or key functions. Place a comment or a string. Okay, so to set breakpoint, a comment on a string, because here you could see entry point, but this is a string or a comment. So when you know something about programming, when you talk about strings, you know what we talk about, or comments, you know what we talk about. So we see a whole lot of, when you scroll down, you see all these strings and comments right here. As I told you, this is the RAM memory address of the software. This is the binary of the software. This is the readable, the human part of the software, where we, as individual, we can read and write. But the computer itself uses numbers and ones and it's code. So how do we set breakpoints for strings? Perfect way is you can look through and see all the comments. But let me show you something right. You see this, when you run, we didn't see any information in this application. But let me run it from the command prompt. I'm going to see what I'm going to explain. You see in the previous, when we launched, we said an information called try. That is not what we do. So the first thing is this. Let me run it from the command prompt, because this is a CLI application. So the best thing is to open. Let me write CMD. Open the CMD. Now let's open this folder and let me show you some. This application, which we already opened in SDBG64, what we are going to do is, let me try to change the entry here. CD, that's how. Then copy this link from here. Okay, I show you in the previous tutorial how to copy a straight link address to paste in your terminal. So let me copy this and paste it and tell you something. So it's being copied now. Let's paste it here. Perfect, it's being pasted. Now let me hit enter. Now when we list the directories in this folder, what do we find? We find the untitled, which is our application. So to run this command line program, all you need to do is hit U, then tab, so that the U is start from U. So when you hit U and you just hit your tab key on your keyboard, it will complete the task, and then just hit enter. And now this is the string we find. This is a try harder, which means the programmer wants us to identify something in this application he coded. That's why he says we should try harder to be able to figure out, guess the hidden information within the software, whether it's the serial key, it's a password or something. So we need to try harder to be able to guess what he wrote. So that is why he brought what we had this string here, which is try harder. So since you've gotten the idea of the application, you could see here we can get a string already. But when you go to, let me close all this folder now when we come to application, you see it's already paused. We don't see anything on the screen now. Okay, so let me move it. And now when we are in this debugger, as I told you, we need to set up a string or a breakpoint on a string, so that when the program gets there, it will be able to review that try harder we saw in that application when I ran from the command prompt right here. So now you see here is blank, we don't see anything. So now we need to set a breakpoint at some part of the code, so that we'll be able to review the try harder information we had earlier on when I ran it from the command prompt straight away. So the best thing is to look for all the strings in this application, okay? And the shortcut or the quick way to look for strings I'm going to show you right now, because when you scroll down you'll be seeing a whole lot of string right here and you don't know how to come about to be able to set the breakpoint. So since we are looking for a string called try harder, it will be very difficult for us to go through all this one by one to look for that information. But before we do that, let me try to uncheck this breakpoint we made here earlier on. So double click into the one. Let's double click this one too. Perfect, is also gone. So now we are still at the entry point. So to search for strings in your application, all you need to do is to right click in this box, okay? So first let's right click and now go to search for, okay? So in the search for, we look for what we call current model, and the current model we are looking for are the string references. So when you click on string references, perfect, now you could see the program has searched for all the strings in the application. And when we come to this string, you see the string or comment sector. As I told you, these are assembly or the readable place. You could see all the move jumps and things you'll be looking back in the code all here. And here is all the address. As I told you, the RAM address of the application. And in time you run application, it goes into memory, okay? So when we come to the string, you see that the information we had try harder is right here. When you click on it, it gives you the line at where you can find this try harder, so that we'll be able to place our breakpoint there, so that we can review the information, so that when the code runs, when you get there, after giving us all the other instruction or performing other instruction, and review the try harder for us, because we've already set a break. So since we find this try, let's double click. It will send us direct into the code, okay? We double click, it brings us straight into the code. And when we go up a bit, now you can see the try harder. So let me come here and you see it properly. So you see the try harder right here in the code. So to set a breakpoint, you know, okay, so setting up breakpoints on let's say strings, as I show you, all we need is to review that information we did earlier on. But to do that, what we needed to do was to set the breakpoint, and this is where we're able to set our breakpoint just beneath where we cannot print our information try harder on the screen, just like this. So to do that, let's restart the program and let me show you something. Now we have our code being empty, our program being empty with no information, as that is what is being the string we want to display as try harder, as what we did earlier on when I ran the code from the command. So to do that, what we do is we already set a breakpoint, a point in a string which we needed. So let's move to the user code or the program itself. And from here, we are in the entry point of the code. We can hit F9 or run to where we set the breakpoint. We can run. Now we are at the part of the code. Now when we hit run, perfect, you see it perform all these instructions, and when it printed out this try harder, just right here, the program breaks. You can see here the program is being pause. Okay, and it was able to review the try hard that we did earlier on. We ran from the code. So that is actually how breakpoints working when you are working with applications, so that anytime you want to patch something or crack a software, you could set some breakpoints so that you make your work so easier for you. So this brings us to the end of breakpoints. I know you've gotten some ideas and breakpoints. Hope to see in the next lesson. I'll teach about reverse jumps. Okay? How to reverse jumps, which is the GM, or J, which is both. This is unconditional, this is conditional. Be able to work within these two jumps and other jumps. How to reverse any jumps. Actually, that is all for today. Take care. Enjoy your day. Goodbye.